Hello, my friends. How are you doing today? I hope you all are doing very well. It's been a little while since I put out a video, and I do apologize about that. Won't go into details, but I actually ended up having surgery about a week ago. I'm okay, but man, just trying to get back into the swing of things. So I've missed putting out videos, but hopefully you've been able to figure some things out and had some fun in the game since then. I had a couple of thoughts of videos the last couple of weeks, and oh man, it's just been busy, so trying to get back into it. But here we are. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about arenas. Kind of go over a refresher of kind of how they work, the scoring, but I wanted to also talk about tips and tricks, some things that me and my alliance mates figured out, and give you the chance to share either down below or join Discord, my Discord if you haven't. I always put the description in the videos below, or the link in the video description below. But feel free to share those tips and tricks. I've said this before, but I'm trying to just continue to build this community of people that want to help one another, that we throw questions out there and ask and help out. And really the greatest tool that we've been able to utilize so far has been Discord. So if you're new to it, I remember when I was new to it, I didn't really do much with it, but it really has a collective group of information and knowledge. So feel free to join that if you haven't, but feel free to ask questions if you're on there, and we'll try and find some answers or help you out. And maybe something that someone will say will either share a crew with you or help you out with. It will trigger a thought that will help you think, oh, I could try something else. Try and do this differently or that differently, whatever it is. Okay, so we're going to talk about arenas. We're going to talk about PvP. I will throw out there that no matter whoever puts out a video that says PvP is more balanced in the game, it doesn't matter. You could go against a player that spends gobs of money, and they could be the same or lower ops level than you, and it doesn't matter. So no matter what, you're going to get imbalanced PvP in this game. It's just going to happen. Have they tried to do some things recently to more balance it? Yes, but it still sucks. And so I usually don't PvP just because the wall warriors, as we call them, can trump me anytime, where I have no chance. And I think many people feel that way. And so PvP is always going to be a struggle in a game like this, you know, where people spend that kind of money because they have it and they want to. It's fine on them, but makes PvP fun for them and miserable for everyone else, I suppose. But if you're going to do arenas and you haven't completely written it off, there are some things you can try to do to try and make them a little bit more effective. And so we'll talk about some of those things in this video, because I want to just get this out there, and hopefully there will be something here that some of you haven't heard of that you can think to yourself, okay, that's something I can try and see how well that works. And if there is something that I miss in this video, feel free to throw it down below or throw it up on Discord, because that's what I want to do. I want to try and help out as many people as I can. So let's hop into it. Why? Because the players matter. All right, so here we are in game. Won't do a whole lot in game, but let's just hop in really quick to talk about the kind of the requirements. I still have yet to unlock data, and I've been thinking about it, kind of going back and forth since PvP is what it is. But I think I'm going to go for data next time I get enough. I just need this one claim to give me the 5 shards I need to unlock data. It seems like a pretty good crew out there. It's been out there for a while. Has always been like the Carol Freeman, Honor Guard Worf, and Lorca. It seems like Mirror Picard data and Honor Guard Worf is a pretty good option. I'll have to test that out once I can get Mirror Universe data. And there's obviously other combinations, but those are 2 of the top ones that probably that I've seen out there. So feel free to let me know either in Discord or down below if you have a better crew that you like to use. Love to hear from you. So if you're gonna PvP, there is some stuff in here. I'm hoping to work my way up if I ever can get high enough to get some of these premium mirror dust. That's kind of the really big thing in here. The other day I did get, oh yeah, the Syndicate Requisition, and there's multiple levels of that, but I got the Syndicate Requisition, just the first one of 7,000. It goes up to 28,000, so I think that is definitely worth going after. Whoops, this one right here. And obviously I can't get any more until I get a higher rep level, which just is gonna take some time. What else? I also like the Forbidden Favors in here to get catalysts and so forth daily. So there's a couple of things in here that are kind of good. I also like lowering the cost for the blueprints for the faction ships and what have you. A lot of this is frustrating because there's good stuff in here that I'd like to get, but is it worth it? And so that's where we kind of have to play with it. I'm currently trying to get where I have enough of these, whatever you call them, arena emblems, enough of these to do single or double pulls each week, or sorry, each day for the whole week. What that is going to mean though, is if we look at the Terran Arena Claim, if you want a single pull, that's going to be 7 days worth of 300 each. That's 2,100. That's like 2 wins. So that's not bad if you can get in with a win. And I had some people in my alliance that had some strategies they were using that I'll share with you today, that hopefully will help you get some of those wins. I think I have enough to do the double chest pull this time, so that's great. So I'll be trying to do that. But credits and reputation will help. It won't get me necessarily to a higher bracket with better rewards, but that's what I'm focusing on. So if you're doing the double pulls, that's 7 times 700, 7 times 700, 4,900. So you're looking about 5,000 you're going to need. Well, about 5 wins, because you get about 1,000 per win. I think it's 400 per loss. Kind of didn't pay super attention to that, just trying to have a standard way of translating that. I think it's 400 per, so 4,900, if we call that 5,000, you know, that's a lot of losses. Maybe you spam the losses and you don't care if you win. If you happen to be able to win, you can with the group you want, then fine. So just the tough part for me is that if you're adding stuff to the game scopely, if you're adding more than an hour for a particular event, even if it's once a week, players are going to complain. And I'm going to complain because I have other stuff to do. I have a real life. I have things to do. There's things in game I'd like to get accomplished that are, you know, really giving me a lot of value that I'm trying to keep up on. And I don't necessarily have time to spend 4 hours spamming these if I can't get wins. So the problem, as you all probably know already, is is the brackets and the points that it takes to win. But mostly the brackets, where last night I queued, let's see, we had a 62, a 61, and a 50, I think it was a 54 on our team. And then we were matched up against a 69, a 66, and a 56, I think it was. So the 69 and the 66, they are way out of our range, had ships we couldn't even touch. Even when they had speed crews, my PvP crews couldn't touch them. So it's like, why even try? So you get to this point where people are sending and they're just not even trying. And so that's gonna be what happens, is you'll have the winners that win, and even if you get in a group, then you may have people that just give up because it's not worth trying. And that's not always the case, because sometimes you can squeak out a win if you keep going. But if someone gives up or has an issue on the other end, it could throw the whole thing off. But all it takes is one whale, one big player, and you're screwed. So anyways, that's frustrating. I'm getting that out at the beginning, I guess. So let's talk about a couple of tips and strategies with all the frustrations. Hopefully they can keep being open about things and we can see some other additional changes. So, okay. First thing that people need to realize is that when you're running these armadas, when you're running these arenas, you start off by whoever starts the group in your alliance, and they went from 5 last week to 3 this week, meaning you need to have 5 people. So 5v5, 5 versus 5. Now it's 3, so it's easier. You don't have to get as many people in your group to join and start these things. But once you have 3 people, the person in alliance that starts it goes to alliance. They click on arena. It won't let me do it here, but then you like form a group, and then you get 2 more people from your alliance to join. Oh, and it has points here. We can talk about that in a minute. But so once they join, then you can go up here. It'll have a little icon you can click on to go there, and then you just start the, I think it's deploy group, something like that. And then once you deploy, it matches you up. And the matching for me actually didn't take more than a few seconds. It was actually pretty quick. The problem was we got matched up against people we couldn't take a lot of time. One thing we did notice is that if you had someone that was an ops level at the lower end of your bracket or the lower end of your range, and from what I can tell, it's still within 7. So for me, as an ops 61 minus 7 would be the optimal like ops level on my alliance. I would want to get someone to form, which kind of sucks, but it seems to get better brackets that way. So I'd get like a 54 in my alliance to start it, and then I think it's supposed to be based off of the average of your group, I suppose. But we found a lot of luck when we had someone that was the lower end of your range start it and have you join. And I think it's because you were like the cap of the top of the range, but you still had options to get players lower because they started, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how Scopely's calculating it. I'm just sharing my experience, right? But anyways, so that was the first thing. Have someone that's the lower end of your range start the thing. We did have some of my alliance that was like an ops 44, I think, that was really struggling to find someone to join because we didn't have a lot of people in that range. So it makes me wonder if the top dogs in Alliance are going to have, the spenders are going to have trouble finding people, maybe. Depends upon the makeup of your Alliance, I suppose. But if they're going to have trouble getting matchups within your Alliance. So feel free to let me know if that's something that's happened to you as well. But what you want to do when you start the arena is you'll start in kind of a home base area. You don't have to pay for repairs, so there's no cost for that. There is time, and you can buy tokens for that, so that's up to you if you decide to do that. But what you want to do is, it seemed to work best when you had like one ship or one player with their 2 ships. You can send 2 ships at a time. Have the one player that had the strongest ships be responsible for the PvPing. They go out and they destroy the other players and their armadas. They don't worry about hostiles or anything else, but your other 2 teammates are hitting hostiles and they're starting armadas as fast as they can, because that's where you get most of the points, is the armadas. So focus on that. Speed is going to be very important. So I did see when we had a top level in our alliance, NorCal, big shout out to you. Thank you for helping us with those. We got some wins when you were around. It was able to do really well when we had NorCal with us. But I did notice that sometimes NorCal had trouble tracking down, or chasing down, I should say, other players, because one of NorCal's ships was the Cube battleship, so it was slower. So you might think speed cruise. Of course, having a really strong cube is going to make a big difference, because no one can really challenge it. They get pretty strong. So there's a kind of a toss-up between, do you have a lot of power or do you want speed? What ship do you use? So speed's going to be important as far as chasing down players, but also chasing down hostiles. One thing I will mention is the Protector, the NSEA Galaxy Quest. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's a fast ship. It has a really good impulse. Throw an impulse speed crew on there, and you can zoom around. I had top like 60, mid to upper 60 level players who were trying to catch my Protector, but they couldn't because it was just too fast. And so you can literally hop from hostile to hostile and really do really well with a ship like that. So chasing down players, chasing down hostiles is important. Talking about the Protector, another little tip. You don't have to actually be in the Armada circle the whole time. One thing that we found that can be effective, and I say can be because you have to be careful due to lag. So we found a good strategy that sometimes worked when you had other players that were trying to chase you down, is you could actually start the Armada, zoom away, and then try and come back just before the 10-second timer starts, and that should give you time in the Armada circle to launch the Armada. So it seemed to work pretty well, and sometimes the other alliance just ignored your ship because it moved away, not knowing, okay, he's coming back. He or she is coming back. Something else you can do with the Protector, remember that it has that Omega ability. So you could actually use Omega ability on your ship, and then you could zoom into the circle. And then even if they do take you out, you'll survive because of the Omega ability, and hopefully have enough hull left that you'll be able to take out the Armada. So that can be helpful too. Also, if you are taken out and you have enough time, you can actually send a ship directly from like your home base out of the PvP specific zone. You can send it from your home base directly to the Armada. So you won't be much in the PvP area, but hopefully you can get to there before they blow up your ship. But that's another thing where the warp time, if you time it right, the warp time can actually count down the Armada time, so you arrive just before the Armada goes off as well. Another strategy that I was talking with some of my alliance, and I didn't get a chance personally to confirm. They said it worked for them, but what they did is they used the loot crew, and because the Armada credits, so you have to hit like 4 regular hostiles in order to launch an uncommon. But if you have a loot crew and you're hitting hostiles, because it's a loot drop, it increases how much you're getting from those hostiles. And so you might be able to hit just one hostile and be able to start an Armada if you're using a loot crew. So feel free to test that out next time. I'm going to try it out next time too, and let me know if that works for you as well. Another strategy that you can use is you can max fortify. So when you start the arena before sending directly to the system, so you're still in that kind of safe zone where your base is at, just hop outside your base, max fortify your warships, then send to the PvP zone, and it seems to have a pretty good ability. Now, if both alliances are doing this, then maybe it negates itself, but max fortify, if they're not, can help you punch up and take out some tougher targets. Another thing that you'll want to watch out for if you have a speed crew is if you have someone coming in to take out your ship that's currently in the Armada, especially with some of these short timers on the uncommons, you can you take your speed crew ship, crash into one of the ship that's heading to take out your ships in the Armada, and that few seconds can buy you enough time for that Armada to actually launch off. Remember that you can only have 2 ships at a time. That doesn't mean that you only have 2 ships. You can use all of your docks. So crew up with speed ships, interceptors, whatever you have. Well, so you have maybe a couple of warships with PvP crews, 3 or 4 of those, what have you, but you have a number of them, and you have to determine how many docks you have to work with. That will depend on your ops level and everything, but use all of your docks if at all possible. Another thing that you'll want to do, and you can even assign one of your people to watch out for it, or maybe everyone that is hitting hostiles watches out for it. But there's a Ferengi trader that is in the system, and if you hit it, normally you have to hit 4 hostiles, but if you hit this Ferengi trader, it gives you 100 uncommon credits, so it gives you enough to launch. It gives you 100, so you can launch with just that one hostile. So watch out for that one. Rare armadas and uncommon armadas are the key. You will want to try and launch those as much as you can. When you're going in, you hit the hostiles to get enough directives to launch uncommons. You launch uncommons, enough of those, a few of those to get the not credits, to get the directives, the rare directives to launch the rares. The rares will give you the most points, it seems like. And those are great to launch. The only problem with them is that they have longer timers, so you have to be creative of zipping in a speed crew to that armada to launch it just at the last second, or you're going to need to defend it so that you make sure that the opposing enemies, the opposing team, doesn't take out your rare armada, because it is worth a lot of points. So hopefully these strategies help. Remember, it's 10 minutes, whoever has the most points, or whoever gets to 1,000 points first. So number of strategies here. Once again, I'm just showing you my experience. I'm not a big PvP fan just because of the imbalance in the game. I still am not on board that PvP has balance in the game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm not going to give you my opinion anything other than what I've experienced, and that is that PvP sucks. You really need to have some max ships or FT, forbidden tech, or what have you. If you have the PvP meta, then it can be helpful. So it depends on where your focus is, I suppose, and how much value you see in arenas. So I'm going to keep working on my ships and trying to get them to a point where that I can do more in PvP to help out my alliance and get some of those things. But it's not something I'm going to kill myself over. I mean, once a week, and it is a pain in the butt. It really is. So anyways, hopefully some of these tricks have helped you. Feel free to share if you have any others. We'll learn from each other and get better at this game. And look forward to the next PvP arena. Maybe they'll make some more changes that will make it even better. I don't know. Trying to be positive here at the end. Anyways, thanks so much, Commanders. Appreciate all your support, and we'll talk to you next time.